Hello everybody, this is Anthony John Agnello, Senior Social Editor at Games Radar Plus. With Resident Evil 0 HD and The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD keeping our early 2016 old school, we've got remasters and remakes on the mind. Remastering a classic game is a tricky business. Go the easy route and just try to convert the original to a more modern presentation, you might end up with a technological mess like the Silent Hill HD collection that ruins the originals. Go too hard, and you might end up with something like Metroid Zero Mission that's so advanced that it retains none of the original's style. These 9 remakes ride the delicate line, updating what needs updating while preserving the best of the past. Metroid Prime Trilogy. The Metroid Prime series did the impossible. It not only took the two-dimensional exploration the series is known for and expertly applied it to a three-dimensional space, it also made first-person jumping not suck. But if you wanted to play the whole series back-to-back, you had to have a GameCube and a Wii, GameCube controllers and memory cards, Wii remotes, nunchucks. It was a mess. Thankfully, Nintendo re-released all 3 in Metroid Prime Trilogy for Wii and Wii U Virtual Console. Retro Studios converted each game into full widescreen, tied them together with the achievement reward unlock system introduced in Metroid Prime 3, and added that game's excellent Wii Remote and Nunchuck control to the first 2 entries, giving you far more precision than you had with a GameCube controller. Metro 2033 Redux. Metro 2033 had a killer story, a great world, and it looked mighty fine when it arrived in 2010, but it played like burnt ass. Stealth was broken, gunplay was broken, everything was broken. But then 4A Games released the Metro Redux collection, and completely rebuilt Metro 2033 to bring it up to par with the excellent and far more playable Metro Last Light. Not only did the already fine-looking art get rehauled, but several new modes make it easier, like the Spartan mode, which turns it into a more conventional first-person shooter, or harder, like Ranger mode, which is the closest anyone will hopefully ever get to life in a frigid Russian wasteland filled with irradiated mutants. Thanks to the update, Metro 2033 gets to be the beautifully desolate survival experience it was always meant to be. Resident Evil HD. The Resident Evil remake, or capital R, capital E make, if you want to be a nerd about it, on GameCube and pretty much every modern console, does a lot more to the Spencer Mansion than some simple redecorating. Sure, you get higher resolution backgrounds, nicer character models, and a few new locations which were cut from the original game, not to mention revamped puzzles to keep old players on their toes. But that's not all. The game gets a whole new level of fearful tension, because zombies can now come back to life as faster, more deadly Crimson Heads. The first time one stood up and rushed you as you screamed, "That's not supposed to happen!" proved this is how you remake a classic. Bionic Commando Rearmed. So, the 3D Bionic Commando didn't get the love it deserved. That's fine. Not everyone's down with listening to the guy from Faith No More whine about how his robot arm is actually his dead wife. For those bellyachers, though, there's Bionic Commando Rearmed, a brilliant retelling of the NES classic. The grappling physics that made that game so memorable are perfectly preserved. But the rest of the game, from the bosses to the unlockable weapons and items to the massive final level, were changed to make use of all of your available skills. Additional challenge levels and the fact that you can play through it all with a bud were just icing on the cake. Rad Spencer continued to live up to his name here. DuckTales Remastered. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of the DuckTales game? That's right, it's the joy of Pogo sticking around each level with Scrooge McDuck's cane like a kid who pounded a gallon of Surge. When Capcom and WayForward brought DuckTales back in 2013, they kept that bounce intact, but that's not all they did. The entire surviving cast of the classic 90s cartoon show returned, including nonagenarian badass Alan Young, to reprise his role as Scrooge McDuck. To make things look even more like the TV show, all of the game's 8-bit art was replaced with actual hand-drawn animation. Even the music blended elements of the classic NES game soundtrack with newly recorded renditions of the songs from the animated series. In short, it's the perfect love letter to fans of DuckTales in every form. Final Fantasy IV. Final Fantasy IV has been re-released on practically every gaming machine these past 25 years, but its 3D Nintendo DS, PC, and mobile incarnation is arguably the best, most fully featured version. Every cave, town, and moon has been lovingly recreated, and many of the most important scenes have surprisingly good voice acting to accompany them. With new minigames, side quests, and additional plot points that weren't included in the original version of the game, the 3D version of Final Fantasy IV is already packed with reasons to dive back in. The New Game Plus option lets you carry your equipment over to a second playthrough where you can take on some hidden bosses for the first time. All that, and it's brutally challenging but fair, a marked difference from the cakewalk that is the original Western Super Nintendo release.
No, it's nothing.
The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD. Originally decried by Zelda fans as that dumb kiddie cartoon one, Wind Waker is now rightly heralded as one of the best Zelda games ever made. Except for, that one bit near the end. Where you have to find all those maps, pay for them to be translated, then find all of the Triforce pieces. And it takes forever. Wouldn't it be great if Nintendo would just fix it so it wasn't such a pain in the ass? Well, as it happens, they totally did in the HD re-release for Wii U. In addition to removing several steps of that asinine Triforce hunt, there's also a special sale you can pick up at the auction house that speeds up travel time significantly. While it does dull some of the cartoon beauty of the GameCube version with its bloom-lit HD sheen, it's still the best playing version of an already spectacular game. Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. What if Metal Gear was even more like one of your Japanese animes? What if it ditched the grainy, blocky polygons of the PlayStation era and adopted the smooth curves of Metal Gear Solid 2? Behold! The Twin Snakes makes Metal Gear Solid even more bonkers and much prettier to look at. In addition to its graphical upgrade, Twin Snakes also features many of the same moves and abilities from Metal Gear Solid 2, including its first-person aiming. Overshadowing these cosmetic changes, however, are the abjectly ridiculous cutscenes directed by Japanese action director Ryuhei Kitamura. We're talking backflip onto a missile and return fire with a missile of your own ridiculous. While the original Metal Gear Solid still remains a classic, the Twin Snakes has the flair for the absurd it lacks.
Threepwood, you do turn up in the strangest places.
The Secret of Monkey Island, Monkey Island 2 Special Editions. The first two Monkey Island games are amazing point-and-click adventures filled to the brim with hilarious pirate jokes, insult sword fighting, and way too many modern conveniences for a game set during the golden age of piracy. But the third entry, The Curse of Monkey Island, had so many improvements that it was a shame LucasArts never went back to the old games to add similar new artwork and voice acting. At least until 2009, when LucasArts started releasing the Monkey Island Special Editions. The updated graphics are an acquired taste, but you can switch to the old visuals at the push of a button. More importantly, every single line of dialogue has been voiced by a stellar cast, including the one and only Dominic Armato as Guybrush Threepwood. You also get a handy hint system for both games and a neat commentary track for Monkey Island 2. The voice acting alone makes these special editions definitive. If you dig this video and want more like it, follow Games Radar on youtube.com/GamesRadar.
None other.